This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Malcolm Pallay, the Executive Chairman and co-founder of Coinsilium, joins us today. Malcolm, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Mark. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for your time today.
So
Coinsilium have released the interims recently, and you stated that you finished the period in a strong financial position and have made tangible gains in strengthening Coinsilium's position within the NFT and open finance marketplaces. So, from your point of view, give us the highlights.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. We were really keen to get these results out because the difference between the interims and the finals is the timescales, because these interims come 3 months after the end of the period and the finals come 6 months after the end of the period. So our finals, which were out in June, are sort of 6 months behind, whereas the interims are only 3 months behind the fact. And we knew, and I think investors, if they actually just, did a back of a cigarette packet calculation, they should have known what our cash position was likely to be. And I'm delighted to see it's even better than that, because if you take our cash at the end of the year and you then add into that our fundraise and the warrant exercise, the cash position is an improvement on that as well. So, it should demonstrate that with 1.874 million cash and equivalents, that's a very strong position for us to be in going forward. So that's the most important thing people should take comfort on. Also, if you look at the cryptocurrencies and tokens, and the value of that at the 30th of June was just 1.25 million. But of course, 30th of June is the date, is the line in the sand where you calculate that figure, and investors will also look at the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, which we've said are predominantly our crypto holdings. Bitcoin is 40% up now from there. Ethereum is about 65% up from there. So it's not a huge stretch to actually do that calculation. Obviously, you're making the assumption that we haven't sold, although we do balance the portfolio, but we're still sort of very long and strong in our crypto holdings with those particular currencies. So, that's whilst I won't sort of specifically say, but if you add, say, an average of 50% onto 1.25 million, you come up to near 2 million. And I don't think you'd be far off if you want to make that assumption. So, that's not a bad position for us to actually to look at. Now, obviously, we've made an investment in the meantime into Greengage, which was £500,000. And we can talk about that later. But the key is that, you're looking at the gains we've made on fair value, which, first half of 2020 was 100,000, and the gains are 800,000. Now, that's on the basis of the value of our investments, which is, important, aspect of what we own as a company. But obviously, we're now a venture builder and operator. We're building things, we're developing things, and we're looking at products to build. So it's going forward, and these will be revenue generative. We're well funded for all our activities. And the other thing, of course, Nifty Labs is hitting the ground running with building the NFT marketplace for Coinsilium. And now with this kind of funding that we have to deploy, we need to sort of staff up. We need to grow the team, to grow the business. So we are a legitimate sort of in a great growth phase for the business, which I would expect to, as we've got news to report on that, we'll be able to put more colour around that. And of course, the other aspect of this, which is really important, is that given that there are certain times of the year where you can talk about the company, there are other times where it's not so easy to, because of the context. Now, before the interims, you've got a 30-day close period, so we can't talk about, if we go around to see funds and brokers and various other people in the space, I want to go from a position of strength. So if we went before the interims were out and we did the road shows and all this stuff, they ask you how much cash you got. You can't tell them. You can sort of indicate it. So everything we've been doing is to line us up for the next quarter, so that we can go and bang the drum and do everything from a position of strength. Because there's only two reasons to talk to the market. From a company's point of view, obviously you want to talk to the market to make sure that investors can see you talking to the market, but you're playing to your strengths. So you either talk to the market when you need money, or you talk to the market when you don't need money. And it's much better to talk to the market when you don't need money, because you get a very different level of confidence going out and coming back. And when we've got a PR company working with us, they're introducing us to people now. We've got our brokers who we're going to be talking to about introducing us to new investors now. But we can do this from a position of strength. The numbers don't lie. I can do all the windbag stuff and all the hot air stuff and the promotional stuff, but we could only really talk about it from a position of strength when the results are out. And it can be a little bit frustrating that we know how well things are going and where they're going, and probably a lot of investors have taken a bet on us see the same. But you need to, these guys that are going to make a difference to our growth and are going to be people who are sort of very hard-nosed and want to see the numbers. So that's really key. I think it's important for investors to realize you've got that window. Once our interims are out, everything's on the table. The next numbers we report won't be till after, we've got 9 months from the year end. They won't be till June next year. So we're going to make sure that we've got to make hay while the sun shines. And generally speaking, this is when you see us talking about what we're doing. So I'm waffling a bit, but just really wanted to give the context of that. Watch this space for our communications going forward. And of course, a lot of the other things we're doing strategy-wise are going to start coming together in any event as well. So we're very excited. I think that we've got the best opportunity to actually sort of make things come together in the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you for that update, Malcolm. Now, as you mentioned earlier, you have announced an investment in Greengage Global Holdings of 500,000. So can you tell us about this opportunity?
It was 500,000. It's split into two tranches or two kind of distinct areas. We've invested 300,000 in equity. They wouldn't sell new equity because they're a growth story. They've got a very clear strategy. They intend to be the first digital merchant bank, and they're applying for a banking license in Gibraltar, which will give them the ability to provide banking services to predominantly the cryptocurrency and growing blockchain cryptocurrency industry, which there are very few of. And I've explained in previous interviews that it's not easy in the crypto business to get banking, and everyone needs banking because you've got salaries to pay, you've got bills to pay, and even though El Salvador is accepting Bitcoin as legal tender, most places in the world don't. And we've seen how companies have to operate in this sector in order to get banking, and it's either very expensive or they have to go in very convoluted ways to actually sort of to fulfill those needs. So it's a really underserved market. And these guys know what they're doing, and we're very happy with the opportunity to get a stake in a bank, or a to-be bank, a startup that is going to be a bank. And I think we can see the next material sort of milestone for them will be to get their banking license. And I think we'll be able to see a material uplift we'd expect a material uplift in the value of our investment from them. So 300,000 in equity, and 200,000 is a convertible loan, which converts at their Series A round, or whatever the next liquidity event is, where they raise at a sort of what would be expected to be a very material valuation, because they would have sort of hit their milestones and got their banking license by then. So that's really exciting. But there's another aspect to the investment, which is the strategic relationship that we are planning to work on with them. So we said on an announcement, it's the intention of Greengage, Coinsilium, to work closely together to explore opportunities to develop regulatory compliant decentralized finance, commercial products and solutions. This is something you're going to hear a lot more about from us, and in conjunction with Greengage, because the key to what's going on in DeFi at the moment is, and it's been a phenomenal growth market, because this is was a real killer app for blockchain technology and smart contracts technology. But ultimately, because this whole sector operates in a grey zone, which is outside of regulation, it's unregulated. It means that whilst the market is growing, burgeoning, the real benefits of DeFi cannot be enjoyed by mainstream, because mainstream cannot embrace a solution that can't be regulated. And the platforms at the moment are quite geared towards those who understand the technology. And mainstream adoption means that the technology, the user experience is seamless. It means that you will go onto a platform which offers effectively peer-to-peer financial services products, or companies offering those kinds of products which, using this technology, have got significantly reduced costs. So you'll get extremely attractive competitive propositions, but under an umbrella and a regulation means that you sacrifice the decentralized aspect for the consumer protection aspect, and and as long as the privacy meets with all respective requirements, and you've got obviously the anti-money laundering aspects to it. Now, this is a big subject, and it's a big opportunity, but because we believe that the technology will get embraced by operators who are looking to take it mainstream, and they will have to work in a way that they create their products in a way that work within a regulatory perimeter. And it's also a challenge for regulators, because regulators, use the expression, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And at the moment, regulators around the world pretty much do that. But, what do they do? When you hear something from the SEC, it's a fine, it's a clampdown, it's whatever it is. But the technology is throwing out so many challenges that they are going to have to, we believe that they're going to have to consider different approaches and using technology to monitor what's going on. So wallets that are used in transactions on these potentially regulatable DeFi platforms could be incorporated with technology which enables the detection of funds that have come from activities that aren't necessarily above board. It could be some flagged wallets that have got tainted, and if that money comes through into a decentralized platform, finance kind of platform, then it gets flagged, and it doesn't get used. So there's all sorts of things that can be done here. But for us, the opportunity of actually exploring these with what will we expect become a bank, and actually then use our capabilities, our funding, position and our skills and our technical skills to be part of the building of solutions and products is a tremendous opportunity. You have to look a little bit beyond the horizon to see what's coming down. And it's much easier to do that when you've got the kind of financial strength that we have. Now, the money we've got is obviously, we think it's good because it's more than we've actually been in a position to declare in the past. But we would expect to grow accordingly. And we feel that once you're in that position, we can be a lot more ambitious with what we plan to do. And we've never, ambition is something we've never lacked ambition. It's purely been the restraint of where we are in the space and how we make the best use of our funds. So bottom line is watch this space for us in terms of talking to the market and talking to various participants, media, lots of things planned. We sent out a newsletter to our registered subscribers, and I would urge people to go to our website and sign up for that if you haven't already, because there'll be a regular newsletter that will be going out with all the updates and all the things we're doing. Just go to our website and go to the Contact Us page and you'll see the sign up. We'll also be doing events that we'll be talking, and we'll be involved in events that are online and in the real world as well, where this whole subject of regulatory compliant DeFi models will become a hot topic. And as I say, we wouldn't be front and center of that. And of course, we've got all the activities around our NFT stuff that we're doing, which is going great, and it's all looking good. And we've really only been doing, this new model has only been going since January. So it's all this year's absolutely flown by because of the actual amount of work we're doing and how we're sort of fitting it all in. But if we can do what we've achieved in the last 6 months, I think you really want to just investors want to bear in mind, what could we possibly, if we do that in it's been 8-9 months, what have we got plans and what can we do in the next 8 to 9 months? So we're really excited. And we, as I say, this next 3 months is really when we have a window to start communicating this from a position of strength, because our results are out. People can see what our cash position is. People can see the trajectory, how we're moving. And, of course, then you go into the Christmas lull and then January and whatever. And then you sort of, you're back to the grindstone, but you don't get the opportunity to talk to the market with their full attention until probably March. So we're going to be making hay while the sun shines. And so we're just pleased and somewhat relieved that we managed, the results are out, and now the communications work and talking about our story, constructing it. Which we've been doing in the background anyway, but we're now, we're in a position to start talking about it.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. It's good to hear these developments. So with the firepower you've got, the opportunities, and the time, and of course the increased marketing and PR you're going to be doing to get that message out to investors, and also about growing your team as well. That was good to hear as well.
Yeah. I mean that's something that's in the pipeline. It's something it's inevitable. It'll have to happen because we do need to have key people and doing various well, particularly with Nifty and moving ahead as it is. But watch this space. It's a process rather than just a one-off event. So we've already, as you know, this year we've got 2 new directors. Wayne joined us in last month, and Federica joined us I think in February or March. So we're quite invigorated, and this is a new chapter for us. So again, I'd urge investors to go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. Also, download our latest investor presentation, which was released end of last week, which covers a lot of the things we're doing. And as I said, we'll be talking about lots to talk about, lots of work to do.
Okay. Well, Malcolm Pallay, the Executive Chairman and Co-founder of Coinsilium, thank you very much. And let's catch up soon. Yes,
we will. You're part of our media teams. Well, you know, we talk to you when we talk to people, so we're delighted to be able to say to you, yes, we'll be talking a lot more.
Okay. Thank you very much, Malcolm.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.